Hello, and welcome to another episode of Adamo Baseball, where I'm your host, Adamo. And so I'm going back to doing the whole reviewing baseball thing because last week I did April's All-Stars, which was fun but very, very time consuming. I also couldn't do a review episode last week because it just wasn't happening. In fact, I spent, I think, about an hour and a half, just actually almost 2 hours working on April's All-Stars, and that's just recording. So doing a week-long review just wasn't going to happen. So I'm going to be missing some things because I'm trying to review more or less like the last 2 weeks, kind of, sort of, maybe. So bear with me whilst I catch you up on the wonderful world of baseball, because I like talking like that, I guess. Starting off, as always, with the American League East. In first place, still, pleasantly, the Boston Red Sox. They're 19-13, and they won their first series in quite a while yesterday against the Detroit Tigers. They lost a 4-game series, 3-1 to the Rangers. It was kind of ugly because they lost them like at the end of the games mostly. And then they were just splitting series for quite a while. They took the 2 games that they played in New York against the Mets. They beat Jacob deGrom in a 1-0 game. And then they won their other game 2-1. So their offense was a bit sluggish for a little bit, but they were able to get it back going again. And so they're back to playing almost 600 ball, which is pretty good. But it took them a while to really get back to where they were playing before. They're not doing a 9-game win streak again for a while, if they have another one this year. And they still have the top run-scoring offense in baseball. Yeah, not by much, but they do have the most runs scored of anybody in baseball with 166. Second place is the LA Dodgers. The Sox have a lot of runs. Their pitching staff really hasn't been great. After getting off to a really good start, Nathan Eovaldi has, well, they've been getting to him quite a bit. And then Eduardo's still pitching really well, but outside of that, it's been kind of hit and miss. So there's that. In second place, I actually have this team's schedule pulled up. The Tampa Bay Rays. They're in second place behind the Red Sox by a game and a half. They're on a 5-game win streak. They just swept the LA Angels on the road. And starting tonight, they go to Oakland to play the A's in 3. Wow, that series could go either way. But yeah, so they're not just wrapping up a West Coast trip. They're wrapping up, how many games is that? 16 games against American League West teams. So 17 actually. So they split a series in Oakland. They lost the series to Houston 2-1. And now they've swept the Angels in 4, and now they're going to Oakland for 3. So Tyler Glasnow is still pitching probably at Cy Young standards, but he's not the Cy Young leader right now for the American League. There are a lot of contenders right now, so I really can't say who should get it, but I know who I want to get it. If you were to pass it out right now, it's too early for that. But more on that later. Sitting in third place, the Toronto Blue Jays at 16-14. They've won I don't think they've actually won 7 of their last 10. Certainly better at home. The main news to come out of the Toronto Blue Jays is that they are set to move their games from Florida, their spring training site, to Buffalo on June 1st. So ye old virus is still a thing, sadly enough. And so the Blue Jays still cannot yet return to Canada. I don't know if that's solely up to Justin Trudeau or if it's up to all of Canadian Parliament. I've only recently started following a YouTuber from Canada, so I really don't have that much inside info into north of the border. But I do know that the border is still closed for now, and the Toronto Blue Jays cannot yet return to Canada. But starting June 1st, they will be playing in Buffalo, New York, their AAA team's home site. I don't necessarily know how that's going to work because starting a couple of days ago, minor league baseball started their season back up, meaning that their AAA team, Buffalo, is playing home games there, or at least I think they are. You can't just kick them out. You do have priority, but yeah, I'm guessing that they're doing some serious schedule budgeting for the Buffalo baseball team in New York. Sitting in fourth place of the American League East, the New York Yankees at 16-15, 2.5 games out of first. Let that sink in. 1 game separates teams 2 through 4, and they're all separated by half a game. The Yankees, so their pitching is still there. They've only given up 109 runs, which is exactly what you want 31 games in. Their hitting is finally starting to take off. So yesterday, Gleyber Torres scored from first base on a pop-up. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. And then Giancarlo Stanton has really taken off over the last couple of weeks. So it really depends on how well he continues to play, whether or not it's just a hot streak. But it looks like the Yankees offense is starting to get going a little bit, which I've been saying for a while to expect that to happen. Well, it looks like it's finally starting to happen. In last place in the American League East, the Baltimore Orioles at 15-16, 3.5 games out of first. Just a wonky stat for you. They're 4-10 at home, but they're 11-6 on the road. I've never seen that. I've seen teams play worse at home, but not by that margin. The main news to come out of Baltimore is that on Wednesday, lefty pitcher John Means threw a no-hitter and was the first pitcher in baseball history to have the only base runner allowed advance on a dropped strike 3 rule. After that, Sam Haggerty was caught stealing second base. John Means did face the minimum number of batters. And it wasn't to end the inning, so it's not like some guy was at bat and then came back to bat the next inning. No, it was the same batter all the way around. So, yeah, it's like the best non-perfect perfect game ever. So, wrapping up the American League East real quick. Red Sox in first, Rays in second, Blue Jays in third, Yankees in fourth, Orioles in fifth, or last. And for the record, the Orioles are not playing like a last place team. They're actually playing more like mid-tier. So, yeah, just want to throw that out there. And now moving on to the American League Central. In first place, and I'm surprised I'm able to say this, the Cleveland Indians. The team mostly known for pitching is still getting it done with pitching. Again, Savale, Shane Bieber, they're still the driving force for the Cleveland Indians. And it's not surprising because they have been scoring runs better, but they're not scoring runs a lot. Come on. So they're on a 5-game win streak, actually. They just swept the Royals in a 4-game series on the road. And it looks like they're starting to score some runs, though not as many as you'd necessarily want. But they are starting to score at least a little bit. And yeah, the Indians are having a really good week. They've won 8 of their last 10. They're on a 5-game win streak. They're in first place of the AL Central for the first time this season. I don't know how long that'll last, but hey, more power to them. In second place, the Chicago White Sox at 16-13, half a game back. Their pitching has been good. Carlos Rodon has actually been better than I thought he was. Not just that no-hitter where he missed a perfect game by a toe, but his ERA is actually lower than 1. I was initially wrong. He's actually pitching that well. Yermin Mercedes is still Yermin Mercedesing, which is just a fun thing to say, but it also happens to be true. They also have the most runs scored in the American League Central. They scored 143. And realistically, the White Sox should be in first place in the AL Central, and they probably will be in the not-so-distant future. So, yeah, they're better than that record would indicate. In fact, Sportsline has them projected at winning 91 games this year. Go up. They're going to win more than that, now that they finally started to hit their stride. In third place, the Kansas City Royals. They're starting to come back down to earth. So while they were the best team, or they had the best record in the American League, not just the American League Central, but the American League at 16-9, they're on a 5-game losing streak. They're starting to come back down to earth. They're only a game behind the Indians for the division, but it looks like they're starting to really fall down a bit. And I expect that it's only going to keep going. As of right now, I don't know that they're going to go below 4th place in the division, but it's possible. Speaking of 4th place, the Minnesota Twins. I don't know what to make of the Twins. They're 11-19 through their first 30 games. They put out some offense. Like, they've been scoring a lot of runs. Their pitching isn't there. And frankly, they just keep losing. They're on a 3-game losing streak right now. And I don't know what to make of them. I just don't. I think that they're going to get better as the season goes on. But when? And then in last place in the American League Central, the Detroit Tigers at 9-23, 9 games out of first place. And honestly, it doesn't look like it's going to get much better. So they did take 1 game from the Red Sox. They won their first series of the season 2-1. I don't remember who they played. I think it was... No, I don't remember who they played. And then they swept the A's later. But outside of that, they really haven't done much. They've only scored 101 runs. They've given up a league worst 169. Let me make sure that's not just the American League. It's not just the American League. As it stands right now, they're the worst team in baseball. By every metric. I want them to get better. I don't like seeing teams just be bad. It looks like Detroit's going to be bad. So, for a review of the American League Central, we got the Indians in first, the White Sox in second, the Royals in third, the Twins in fourth, and the Tigers in last. Now, moving on to the American League West. In first place, the Oakland Athletics at 19-14. Second best record in the American League behind the Red Sox. And so the A's have only been playing like 500 ball since their 13-game win streak. In fact, they're 6-7 since then, or 5-7 since then. But as it stands right now, they are still the best team in the American League West. I don't necessarily know what to make of them right now. I think another month, when they're not quite as streaky, we'll be able to see just how good the Athletics really are. But for right now, they're a pretty good team. They've got really good odds to make the playoffs, to win the division. They're playing like a division winner. In second place in the American League West, a team that's definitely come back down to earth a bit, the Seattle Mariners at 17-15, a game and a half out of first. So the Mariners, I like to see that they're still in it, that they're still within a game and a half of the West Division, that they have that legit shot. And frankly, they haven't played bad. You look at the run differential and you say, huh? How are they still in second? Well, because they're winning the close games and they're still scoring most of their runs late. So, I mean, they did just lose a series to Baltimore at home. But when you get no hit by John Means, a little hard to win. And Seattle, I think they just got the Orioles at the wrong time because the Orioles won that series in Seattle. So I think the Seattle Mariners are actually playing about at their actual level. Because they're not the worst team in the West. They're not. And I think that they're about where they should be as far as record goes. I think that they're slightly above a 500 team. And I think that going forward, they're at least moving in the right direction. Especially if they let Kalinick play and, get to the bigs and all that. In third place, the team that I still do not know what to make of them, the Houston Astros. So not only is this team super streaky, they're 16-15. They're 2 games out of first. I think they just split with the Yankees, a 2-game set. I'm not sure if there was a full series played or not. I'm going to check real quick to make sure I'm not going completely insane. Only partly. But yeah, that's the point of the clicking right now. Now, they lost the series to the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. So, are they the best team in the American League West? Probably. But they're not really playing like it quite yet. They still they still have to prove that they're better than Oakland before they can really say, like, yeah, we're the best team in the West. I'm not sold on them yet. They're the only team with a positive run differential, but that's because they've been scoring a lot of runs and they've got one pitcher that's a legit, Cy Young candidate in Zach Greinke. But outside of that, I'm not convinced. In fourth place, the fact that they're still in fourth and not last surprises me. The Texas Rangers at 16 and 17. They did just take 3 out of 4 from the Red Sox. So there is that. And they have been playing very well here recently. Wait, is that? I don't know if that's... Hold on.